Everybody, today's video, I'm going to show you how to reload your hip rotation. So first off, we're going to look at, do we need to add mobility into our hips? So quick little test we can do is called a Faber's test. You're going to place your foot on top of your knee, pelvis stays square, and you're just going to let it fall towards the floor. Now we're looking for roughly almost parallel to the floor, but we're looking for more for symmetry. So you can test the right side and the left side. And if you see that, that one hip's kind of popping up there, I feel some tightness in there, there might be some restrictions either on the front or the back, okay? Only know that it's tight. You can double check a straight leg raise to see if there's a little bit more tension, maybe in the glute area, and just feeling for weight difference or resistance on right and left. So we found some left hip rotation restrictions that might be limiting with our lunges or our squats, and it just doesn't feel right. So we're going to change the input. You're going to take your foam roller, and we'll start at the back side. And instead of just kind of rolling back and forth, because that can change the input a little bit differently depending on how you do it, we're going to do pin and move. So you're going to roam around, could be piriformis, might be glute max, might be glute medius minimus, and you're just going to looking for the nice little trigger points like that, and you'll know when you're on it. So you're going to hold it, you're going to pin it, and then we're going to use what's called reciprocal inhibition. So we're going to use the opposite muscle group, that being the groin group or the adductor group, to inhibit that nasty little trigger point that's trapped in my glute. So I'm adding some resistance with my hand, but not so much to overpower it, and then I'm just pushing my knee actively up towards my face. And then I'm just prying that hip open. So we're going to do about 3 to 5 reps on this, and you'll notice that it releases quite quickly using that neural inhibition trick, okay? So we'll go there, roam around, see if you find anything else. If you got another one back there, go after it. From the glute, we're going to move over to TFL. Now TFL is that kind of hip flexor, acts like a glute, acts like a hip flexor, but it's notorious for getting triggered up and overused if glutes or hip flexors or core isn't working. So we're going to move into that, and you'll know it sits between the two hip bones. So kind of the outside hip bone and then the top hip bone in the pelvis. You're going to roll a little forward on there. You'll know when you hit it, right about there. And same idea is I'm going to pin this leg. So I'm pinning the tissue, and I'm lifting that bottom leg up to pin and stretch that. Now also, I'm going to bend the knee and extend because it attaches to the IT band. Here, I'm just going to do some lifting up towards the ceiling, okay, to get some different fibers. And then I can pin it, and I can bend and straighten the knee 5 times, just to strip that tissue out. We're just changing the input. We're getting it to relax a little bit so we can turn other muscles on around it. Cool? Cool. All right, next we're going to integrate some new movement, some new mobility. So being the left hip, we're going to set up into our shin box, and we're going to rotate to the right. So I'm squaring my chest up, I'm planting my right hand down, and I'm going to slide my left hand out. And when I hit tension and resistance, I'm just breathing. So deep breath in, exhale, find some new range, deep breath in, exhale, and see how far you get. Now it's important that you keep this back knee on the floor. Don't let that lift off. So you're still using the adductors to inhibit any of the tightness in the lateral glutes, the lateral hip, or anything else up into the ribs or the lats, okay? So it's all one connected tissue, but we are breathing and integrating some new movement with that. Once we free that up, now we're gonna implement a little bit more rotation. So I'm gonna post up, and I'm going to reach and spin all the way back here. So I'm tracking my thumb with my eyes, I'm rotating my head because the neck goes with the rest of the spine. But when I get back here, I'm anchoring, I'm really pushing with my foot to light up some of the deep rotators. So I'm hitting the brakes there, and I'm pushing back out. So I'm not just sweeping the arm, I'm actually pushing with the hip to come on back. So I'm adding some resistance in that full end range of internal rotation. I'm going to inhale as I reach, because inhalation goes with spinal extension. Exhale as I slide forward. Inhale, and then exhale. And I can even fall into that shin box reach, okay? Now, we've got some new range in here, a little bit new strength. Let's lock that in with some active range. So I'm going to pin that foot on the floor. I'm going to pry that hip open, just using the deep hip rotators. I can sit here and I can do a few reps, and you'll feel this deep in the groin, deep in the hip. No pains allowed, but tightness is okay. And then we're going to transition to the other side. Okay? You can do the same thing with the right. I'm going to pry that hip open. You can see my right hip moves a little bit better. And then I'm going to push with my foot on the left and come on back and then slowly lower in. So it's not just falling into these movements. I'm controlling the amount of rotation through the hip, okay, with actively. Now, once we're settled into here, you know, we've taken care of the deep rotators. I'm going to pivot back over here, set up my shin box, but now I'm going into kind of, I guess, what's called a half pigeon. I'm going to open this up. I'm going to stretch out that piriformis and those glutes eccentrically. So I'm coming down. I can make some fists to create a little bit more tension in the system. Come on back, rotate. Come on back, square it up. So these are pigeon pancakes. Come on down. So I'm lengthening eccentrically, strengthening, pressing back up. So I'm not just popping my chest up, I'm pushing my knee and my shin into the ground and actively making the glutes and the lateral hip work here. It's good to have flexibility, but if we don't have strength in that range, then we just have unstable. We have unstable joints, okay? Now from here, once we've got some strength, now we can come up, we can start working on some transitions. So we're gonna lock it in with some alternate hip rotations, tall kneel, making sure toes are pointed to protect the knees. Pivot here, pop up. Lock the glutes, come on back. Here, up, lock, and then you can even work on step throughs to work into the lunge. Slowly lower down, pivot, up. Now, if you're gonna step through, make sure you're completely locked into that hip so you can get a good, clean step through, okay? You can play with some more rotations up here, sweep that leg around, slowly drop, okay? Really nice exercise to set up your lunges, set up your squats, anything in general if you just need for rotation exercise, cutting drills. But it's important that you check your body to make sure there's symmetry first. If there's asymmetry, that's when we can start getting into problems. So we're gonna come back, we're gonna check our work. Does that favor? Opens up, looks good. Looks good. That feels good. That feels good. Always check your work after. Make sure that whatever you did worked and that your nervous system and your brain agreed with it. I hope that was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions. I am here to help and kind of work and teach everybody how to move better, how to assess themselves, be more aware, and just get through life with less pain. Okay? Take care.